Hello dear students, welcome back to my channel and also to Science Last Minute Revision YouTube live session. Students, we have seen the maths last minute revision video was very successful because many of the concepts have repeated in the exam. In the same way, I'll be doing the concept-wide revision. Instead of revising the question and answers, I'll be doing what? The concept revision chapter-wise. So, it is better to have textbooks with you, both the parts with you, and also if you have the workbook and worksheet, that is 100 plus questions worksheet, and also the workbook what I have shared, if you have with you, then it will be better. If you don't have, it's better to join the Telegram group and download those two important worksheets and workbook, because maximum concepts have been covered in the worksheets. And also students, do have textbook with you and also pen or pencil with you. So chapter wise I'll be doing the revision and also I'll be discussing the important questions. So make a note in the textbook itself or mark it so that it will be easy for you to remember those concepts during exam. So students, if you have not subscribed the channel, do subscribe the channel. After the 10th exams also, hopefully I can contribute towards your education. So do subscribe the channel. Any information regarding the results or any updates on the SSLC exam will be posted in my channel. So students, now in this live session we'll be doing what? The chapter wise quick revision, and also most important questions will be discussed, and also concept wise topics will be discussed. The session will be today and also tomorrow at 10 a.m. So do attend the both sessions completely. You should not skip any part of the live session, because the complete live session will be very important, and also I hope it will be very useful to you. Students, take your textbooks. Now what I'll do, I'll start from the unit the chemical equations, the chemical reactions and equations. So we'll be discussing the concept chapter wise. I'll be telling the type of questions that can be come for your exam. So do make a note of all the questions what we'll be discussing now. The first chapter, chemical reactions and equations. Students, now take your part 1 textbook and go to the unit chemical reactions and equation. Very simple chapter to score around 5 to 6 marks. Now in this, the introduction, you should know about the physical and chemical changes that you have already studied. The important part is burning of magnesium ribbon. If magnesium ribbon burns with what? The dazzling white flame, and also it changes into what? White powder. The white powder is called as magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide, it is due to what? The reaction of magnesium and oxygen present in air. Why magnesium ribbon should be cleaned? They can ask you the question like, why a magnesium ribbon should be cleaned? Why it should be cleaned? Because to remove the unwanted impurity and also to burn only the pure magnesium. Why it should be cleaned? Magnesium ribbon should be cleaned before burning, because we need to burn only pure magnesium, so we need to remove the unwanted impurities. So what we do, we clean the magnesium ribbon before burning it. And also, what observation we can check when the chemical reaction has took place? It can be change in the state of matter, or change in color, or evolution of gas, and change in temperature. These are the observations or the changes you can see when a chemical reaction has taken place. And also, in chemical equations, they can ask a definition like, what is chemical equation? What is chemical equation? Chemical equation is a symbolic representation. It is a symbolic representation of a chemical reaction. What is chemical equation? Chemical equation is a symbolic representation of what? The chemical reaction. And also, the very important part is, on the left side we have reactants, on the right side we have the products, right? The reactants are written on what? The LHS. The products are written on the RHS. Now it is a very important concept for 3 marks. Writing a chemical reaction, they'll give the word equation. For 3 marks, word equation will be given. What you need to do, you need to write the chemical equation for it. For example, magnesium and oxygen combine to form magnesium oxide. So magnesium plus oxygen combine to form what? Magnesium oxide, right? The same way, the statement will give you what you should do. You should write the chemical equation, and also you should balance it. Balancing the chemical equation can be given for 1 or 2 mark definitely. Students, now let us take the equation. Iron reacting with water to form Fe3O4 plus release of hydrogen gas. So this chemical equation is not balanced. We should balance it. Fe plus H2O gives Fe2 Fe plus H2O gives Fe3 Fe3O4 plus now this is the unbalanced chemical equation. You need to balance it. How to balance it? The first step is, try to put the boxes around the formula without changing anything. Whatever it's there inside the boxes will not be changed. If any equation is given, to balance it, what is the first step? The first step is put boxes around each formula, like that. What I've shown, you can check it, right? Try to put the boxes around the formula. Do not change anything inside the boxes. Now list down the elements. In the chemical equation, list down the elements. What we have? We have iron, we have hydrogen, and we have oxygen. Do we have any other element other than iron, hydrogen, oxygen? No. And list down the number of atoms on LHS and RHS. Now how to balance the chemical equation? First, put the boxes around the formula, then list down the elements and list down the number of atoms on the LHS and RHS. On the LHS, iron we have 1 atom, on the RHS we have 3. In the same way, hydrogen we have 2, on the RHS we have 2. In the same way, oxygen we have 1, on RHS we have oxygen 4. See, LHS, number of atoms in the LHS should be equal to number of atoms in the RHS. Then only we can say that chemical equation is balanced. But you can see here, number of atoms on the LHS and on the RHS is not equal. Now, always start balancing the element which has highest number of atoms. For example, oxygen has what? 4. It is a maximum here. It is a maximum. Try to balance what? Oxygen first. Now, on the RHS, what we have is what? 4 oxygen atoms. So, in the LHS, I should make it 4. So, what I'll do? I'll multiply by 4, right? Yes or no? In the same way, here, I'll multiply this outside the box by 4. Now, number of oxygen has become what? 4. 4 into 1 is 4. Now, what is the number of atoms of hydrogen on the LHS? It has become now 8. Now, on the RHS, I should make it what? 8. 2, I should make it as 8. So, I'll multiply by 4. 2 4s are 8. Now, multiply by 4. Now, hydrogen on the LHS it is 8, on the RHS it is 8. Now, iron what we have on the LHS is 1, on the RHS it is 3. So, I'll make 1 as 3. So, I'll multiply by 3. Now, 3 into Fe becomes 3 Fe, and also on the RHS it is Fe3O4. Now, it is completely balanced. Students, you have understood, right? Now, what you have to do? You have to put the boxes around each formula. Next, list down the elements. Next, what you have to do? List down the number of atoms on the LHS and also on the RHS. Start balancing the element which has highest number of atoms. In this case, we had oxygen, right? 4, and here it was 1. So I made 1 as 4 by multiplying by 4. So I've written 4 here. Now hydrogen had become what? 8. So I balance hydrogen, then iron, Fe, right? Now the equation becomes 3Fe plus 4H2O gives what? Fe3O4 plus 4H2, right? This is how you balance the chemical equation. Students, there are many equations are there in the exercise. All those are very important. You can check it that. See, there are 4 questions are there. Try to practice all the 4 questions, and also writing balanced chemical equation. This also very important. Definitely you can expect for 3 mark. Very important. Or they can ask me the examples in the textbook also. That is, we'll see example for combination, displacement, double displacement. Now, hopefully you have understood the balancing the chemical equation. Now, we'll see the types of chemical reactions. One is combination reaction. What is combination reaction? A reaction in which single product is formed from 2 or more reactants. 2 or more reactants will be there. It combines to form a single product. We call that as what? Combination reaction. 1 mark definition, whether it is combination, displacement, double displacement. or decomposition reaction. Based on that, you can expect 1 or 2 mark question definitely. What is combination reaction? A chemical reaction in which a single product is formed from 2 or more reactants is called as combination reaction. Here example is calcium oxide reacts vigorously with water to give what? Slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide, releasing large amount of heat. It is an example for combination reaction. The same way, burning of coal, C plus O2 gives CO2, formation of water from hydrogen and oxygen, 2H2 plus O2 gives you 2H2O. Students, and also you can see the important concept, what exothermic reaction, a chemical reaction in which heat is released along with the formation of product is called as what? A chemical reaction in which heat is evolved is called as exothermic reaction. Example, burning of natural gas, CH4 plus 2O2 gives CO2 plus 2H2. In the same way, during digestion, respiration is an exothermic process. Why? Important 2 mark definition. During digestion, food is broken down into simpler substances. For example, rice, potato, bread contain carbohydrates. These carbohydrates broken down to form glucose. Glucose combines with oxygen in the cells of the body and provides energy. The special name of this reaction is called as respiration. The process which we'll study in the unit life process, that is C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives to 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy. And also the decomposition of vegetable matter into compost is also an example for exothermic reaction. Decomposition reaction, that means a single reactant will be broken down into more than 2 products is called as what? Decomposition reaction. Combination reaction, 2 or more reactants combine to form single product. Decomposition reaction, where one reactant will be broken down into what? 2 or more products. 2 FeS. So for ferrous sulfate on heating gives ferric oxide plus release of sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So this question has been asked in model paper and also in the preparatory. In the same way, decomposition of calcium carbonate to calcium oxide and calcium dioxide on heating, it is an example for decomposition reaction. Calcium oxide is called as quick lime or lime. It has many uses. It is used in the manufacture of cement. Students, make a note, calcium oxide is an very important use, like it is used in the manufacture of cement, right? CaCO3 on heating gives CaO. It is called as quick lime or lime. It is used in the manufacture of cement. There are many activities are there, you can go through it. We have one more example for thermal decomposition. Lead nitrate on heating gives lead oxide plus release of nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen, 2 Pb plus NO3 twice. On heating gives 2 PbO plus 4 NO2 plus O2. All these chemical equations are very important. Do practice, and also very important 3 marks diagram in case if it is asked for 3 marks. Electrolysis of water. Important 3 marks diagram, electrolysis of water. Do practice this. So silver chloride turns gray in sunlight. This is due to the decomposition of silver chloride into silver and chlorine by light. Where this reaction is used? This reaction is used in black and white photography, right? silver chloride turns gray in sunlight, but when it is exposed to sunlight, it breaks down into what? Silver and chlorine. And also silver bromide on exposed to sunlight, it gives silver and bromine. So all this reaction, you can see heat is observed. When the heat is released, we call that as exothermic reaction. When the heat is observed, we call that as what? Endothermic reaction. Students, these two reactions are used in what? Black and white photography, and also these are examples for endothermic reaction, where the heat energy is observed. Instead of releasing, it will observe the heat energy for the chemical reaction. Hence they are called as what? Endothermic reaction. So hopefully you are understanding all this concept. Make a note of all the concepts what we are discussing. So displacement reaction. What is displacement reaction? A chemical reaction in which a highly reactive metal displaces a less reactive element is called as what? Displacement reaction. You can see here, iron is displaced by what? Copper. Fe plus CuSO4 gives what? FeSO4 plus Cu. The same way you can check out for other displacement reaction. Zn plus CuSO4 gives what? ZnSO4 plus Cu. The same way Pb plus CuCl2 gives PbCl2 plus Cu, where a high reactive element displaces what? The less reactive element. In the same way double displacement, where the two ions in the solution exchange their ions, right? Na2SO4 plus BaCl2, right? You can see the ions will be exchanged in the solution. And also any reaction that produces a precipitate can be called as precipitate reaction. A chemical reaction in which there is exchange of ions between the reactant are called as what? Double displacement. Students, combination, two or more reactants combined to form a single product is called as what? Combination. Displacement reaction. What is displacement reaction? A highly reactive element displaces what? The less reactive element is called as what? Displacement reaction. What is double displacement? A chemical reaction in which exchange of ions takes place between the reactants is called as double displacement reaction. And also decomposition reaction, a reaction in which a single reactant decomposes into two or more products is called as what? Decomposition reaction. Now we'll be checking at next very important concept, oxidation and reduction. Definite 1 mark or 2 mark question. Here in this reaction, you can see oxygen has been added to what? Copper. That means the reaction will be what? Oxidation. If a substance gains oxygen is called as oxidized. If a substance loses oxygen during a reaction is called as reduction. What is oxidation? If a substance gains oxygen, we call it as oxidation. If a substance loses oxygen during a reaction is called as reduction process. Here we can see CuO. It is reduced to what? Cu, copper. That means oxygen have been removed. Therefore, it is an example for reduction. Whereas hydrogen is gaining what? Oxygen. It is an example for oxidation. Which substance got reduced? Here it is CuO. Which substance got oxidized? It is H2, right? In MCQs they can ask, given a chemical reaction like CuO plus H2 what give H2 Cu plus H2. See here, CuO, in CuO is reduced to what? Copper, right? It is losing oxygen. That means CuO is called as reduction process because it is losing oxygen. It is reduced, whereas hydrogen is gaining oxygen. Therefore, hydrogen is example for oxidation because it is gaining what? Oxygen. In the same way, you can identify the oxidation and reduced. And also, if a reaction, when a reaction where oxidation and reduction occurs simultaneously, we call that as redox reaction. A reaction in which oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously, we call that as what? Redox reaction. A chemical reaction in which oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously, we call that as redox reaction. So one more important concept, corrosion. What do you mean by corrosion? Where a metal is corroded because of the environment is called as what? Corrosion. What is corrosion? What is corrosion? It is what? Where the elements being corroded because of the environment like air, water, and also chemical present in the atmosphere is called as what? Corrosion. How can we prevent corrosion? To prevent corrosion, what we can do? We can paint the iron articles, and also one more process is there called as galvanization. Next very important concept for exam is rancidity. When fat or oil containing food, when it is exposed for long time, what happens? It changes its smell and also taste. This is called as what? Rancidity. How to prevent rancidity? Rancidity can be prevented by oxidation, that is by adding what? Antioxidants to the food containing fats and oil. Usually chips manufacturer usually flush bags of chips such as nitrogen. Which gas is used to prevent the rancidity of chips? It is nitrogen gas is used to what? Prevent the rancidity. Students, hopefully you have understood based on see, all these in-text questions are very important. Try to read already. If I read the textbook, if we have understood, it is very simple now to answer those questions. Students, hopefully you have understood the unit chemical reactions and equation. Now we'll do a what? Mind map. This is called as mind map. Reaction, what are the changes, color, state, temperature. You can write like this. So what are the important concepts are there? You can write down like this by putting arrow mark. It will be easy for you. It will take hardly around 10 minutes to prepare a mind map, but it will be very useful to remember during exam time. What is rancidity? Rancidity, fat or oil containing food is left, when it is left for a long time, it changes its color and also change its smell. This is called as rancidity. How can we prevent that? It can be prevented by using antioxidants, or what we can, usually the chips manufacturers flush out the bags with gas such as nitrogen to prevent what? Rancidity. 1 mark question. Students, next unit, acid, bases and salt. It is a very important chapter to score marks around 6 to 7 marks. In this chapter you should know about the properties of acid, bases and salts, and also you should know about the change of the color of the litmus. When the acids are served in taste, it changes the what? Blue litmus to red. You should understand what it is, a change of blue to red. Acid, blue to red, whereas bases are bitter, change the color of red litmus to what? To blue. Red to blue, bases, blue to red, it is an acid. We should know about an indicator. Indicator is a substance which changes its odor, color in the presence of acid or bases. And also you should know the meaning of olfactory indicators. Olfactory indicators are the substances which change their odor in the presence of acidic or basic medium. Example for olfactory indicators are vanilla, onion and clove. You should know the examples for olfactory indicators. And also very important 3-mark diagram, reaction of zinc granules with dilute sulfuric acid and testing what? Hydrogen gas by burning it. Do practice this, make a note. And also students, when a metal reacts with acid, what is the gas is released? Hydrogen gas will be released. What is the acid released? When the acid, what is the gas released? When the acid reacts with a metal, it is hydrogen gas. And also you can see few chemical equations. Reaction of sodium hydroxide with zinc gives what? Sodium zincate plus release of what? The hydrogen gas. And also reaction of metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonate with acid, very important 2-mark reactions. What is the gas released when what? When metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonate reacts with gas, it is carbon dioxide. Metal reacting with acid gives what? Hydrogen gas. Metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates reacting with acid gives what? Carbon dioxide. So when the acid and bases react together, what we get? We get salt and water. This is called as neutralization reaction. Very important 2-mark question. Example, NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2O. Student, make a note of all the, at least you can mark it and you can read it. Metal oxide plus acid gives what? Salt plus water. So metal oxide nature will be what? Basic. Metal oxides are basic oxides. So 1-mark question. Metal oxide reacting with acid gives salt and water. That means obviously metal oxide is what? Basic oxide. So reaction of non-metallic oxide. Non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Metallic oxide are what? Basic in nature. Whereas the non-metallic oxide are what? Acidic in nature. Metallic oxide basic, non-metallic oxide acidic in nature. So these are the few questions, you can check it. So acid solution in water conducts electricity, and it is also very important 3-mark diagram. Acid contains H plus ions, whereas the base contains hydroxyl ions, that is OH minus. Acid contains what? H plus ion. Acid contains H plus ions, whereas the base contains OH minus ions. Very important 1-mark definition. What is an hydronium ion? H plus, H2O gives what? H3O plus. This is an example for a definition of hydronium ion. So basic generate what? Hydroxide ions. Acid generate H plus ions. Base generate what? OH minus ion. When bases are soluble in water, they are called as what? Alkalis. When bases soluble in water, we call that as alkalis. Now we can identify acid by what? It generates H plus ions, whereas the base, it generates what? OH minus ions. And also very important, the process of dissolving an acid or base is highly exothermic one. It always the care must be taken that acid must be always be added slowly to water with constant stirring. As first you should pour the water, then slowly should add the acid to the water. If the reverse is done, definitely what happens? It is an highly exothermic reaction. It will splash out. Mixing an acid or bases with water results in decrease of concentration of H plus or hydronium ion. Such a process is called as dilution. Students, study these questions. Out of these questions, you can expect one question for the exam. Why dry HCl gas do not change the color of dry litmus paper? Because dry HCl gas do not generate H plus ions. That's why it will not change what? Dry litmus paper. Why an aqueous solution conduct electricity? Because it contains ions. Ions are responsible for conduction of electricity. So next, and very important scale for measuring hydrogen ion concentration is called as pH scale. A scale measuring hydrogen ion concentration in a solution is called as pH scale. Student, pH of neutral solution is 7. 0 to less than 7 is acid. 7 to 14, greater than 7 to 14, it is what? Basic nature. Therefore 7 is neutral, 0 to 7 it is acidic, 7 to 14 it is what? Base. Now given pH of a solution is 8. What is the nature? Nature of the solution will be basic because it lies between 7 and 14. pH of the solution is 7. That means it is a neutral solution. pH of the solution is 4. What is the nature of the solution? It is acidic because 0 to 7 it is acidic, 7 to 14 it is base, exactly 7 it is what? Neutral. And also you should know the importance of pH in everyday life. Our body works within the pH rate 7 to 7.8, and also when the pH of the rainwater is less than 7.56, less than 5.6, when the pH of rain is what? Less than 5.6, it is called as acid rain. And also pH of soil in your backyard, that is the pH for a healthy growth of a plant is what? It should be optimum, otherwise it will not grow. pH in our digestive system. See, as students, our stomach produces what? Hydrochloric acid. It helps in the digestion of food without harming the stomach. In case of digestion, in case of any digestion, stomach produces what? Too much acid. Too much acid, this causes pain and irritation. To get rid of this pain during what? The indigestion, what happens? We use medicine called as antacids. Like Eno and all, it is an example for antacids, or we call that as milk of magnesia or magnesium hydroxide. pH as its cause of tooth decay. A tooth enamel is made up of what? Calcium hydroxyapatite. One more question will be asked. How to prevent tooth decay? We can prevent the tooth decay by practicing what? Cleaning the mouth after eating the food by using the what? Toothpastes, which can prevent what? Tooth decay, because it will neutralize the excess acid and prevent what? Tooth decay. Self-defense by animals. Bee sting is an acid, causes pain and irritation. It contains which acid? Methanoic acid. Make a note. Bee sting or nettle leaves inject what? The methanoic acid, which causes what? Burning pain. Students, very important 1 mark question, and also so you can read all these things. And very important process, what? Chloralkali process. Chlorine gas is produced, hydrogen gas is produced, brine containing NOH. These are the products of chloralkali process. And also we should know the uses of bleaching powder, what is bleaching powder, uses of bleaching powder, and also chemical name of bleaching powder, you should know it. And also bleaching powder, it is what? CaOCl2. Uses of bleaching powder: baking soda. Baking soda is an what? The chemical name is what? Sodium hydrogen carbonate, NaHCO3. Uses of baking soda: washing soda. Students, or out of these three salts, you can expect one question for 3 marks. And also reaction between, you should understand the meaning of water of 1 mark question, define water of crystallization, and also the reaction between the plaster of Paris and water. Plaster of Paris and water, 2 mark equation. Go through the exercise questions. Students, moving to the next chapter, metals and non-metals, you should know the physical properties of metals, like you should know the physical properties of malleability, physical properties like malleability, ductility, which is the most ductile, gold is the most ductile. And also you should know about the important another property is what? Sonorous. You should know about malleability, ductility, and sonorous, the physical properties of metal. And also it is a good conductor of electricity. Non-metals, you should know the properties of non-metals too. So out of this you can expect 1 mark question, and also meaning you can expect for 2 marks. Students, make a note of this. You can expect the meaning of malleable, ductility, and sonorous. And also you should know about chemical properties of metals. All these reactions are very important. Students, metal oxides which react with both acid as well as salts to produce salt and water is called as metal oxides which react with what? Both acid as well as bases are called as what? To produce salt and water are called as amphoteric oxides. So know the difference, students. Metal oxides or the oxide, metal oxides or the oxide which react with acid as well as base to produce salt and water, it has what? Amphoteric oxide. Example, aluminum oxide and zinc oxide are example for amphoteric oxide. Important 2 mark question. And also action of steam on metal, important 3 marks diagram. So all this reaction you can go through it. Student, formation of sodium chloride and formation of magnesium chloride, out of these two you can expect 1 mark, one question. Formation of by that electron transfer, that electron dot structure, you can expect one compound, magnesium chloride or sodium chloride. Do practice. I'll be posting a separate video to explain these two. And also properties of ionic compounds are what? Important 2 mark question. Physical nature, melting and boiling point, solubility, conduction of electricity. The properties of ionic compounds are very important, and also you should know the meaning. which can be asked for 1 marks also. From the occurrence of metal, it is deleted for the exam. Now we'll be moving to the next unit, life process. Students, introduction to nutrition, difference between autotrophic nutrition and also autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic. Difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic is an important 2-mark question. And also students, the events that takes place during photosynthesis, important 2-mark question. And also opening and closing of stomatal pore, important. Students, you can expect 5-mark question from the biology. That is, in case if it is, you can expect 5 marks from the unit life process. That is what I told you, right? Difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. And also you can expect 1 3-mark question, that is nutrition in amoeba and nutrition in human beings. Try to know what the complete digestive enzymes and also secretion of pancreas, liver, and how fat is digested in the small intestine, function of stomach, and all these are very important 3-mark questions. Do make a note and read all these questions whatever I told now. What digestion of fat in the small intestine, all the functions of all the enzymes and bile duct including liver and pancreas. Respiration process, breakdown of glucose by various pathways, important 3-mark question. And also students, transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide is very important 3-mark question. Human respiratory system, double circulation, know about double circulation also, and how oxygen carbon dioxide is transported in the human body, how lungs are designed in human beings to maximize the area of exchange of gas transportation. Now we'll see transportation in human beings. Heart, very important 4 marks diagram, and know about the functions of each part. And also you should know about double circulation, function of platelets, and the use of capillaries, arteries. Know the difference between arteries and veins, and also capillaries. What is lymph? What is the function of lymph is an important 2-mark question. Transportation in plants you can definitely expect for minimum 3 marks, 2 to 3 marks. Difference between transpiration and translocation, xylem and phloem, how water is transported, how food is transported, and also movement of water, that is transpiration, will be an important 3-mark question. And also how the waste is excreted in plants, how waste are excreted in the plants, 2-mark question. And from the excretion, important diagram for exam. And also you should know the meaning of excretory system, and also the functional structural unit of excretory system is what? Nephron. You should know about the structure and function of nephron. Students, these are the questions you can expect in the exam. And also I have already told excretion in plants is an important 3-mark question. You should make a list of points. Students, if we are feeling any difficulty in these concepts, control and coordination, very important diagram of neuron, and also what happens between 2 neurons, and also what is the gap between 2 neurons is called as what? Synapse, 1-mark question. what happens between the two neurons, that is the gap between the two neurons, important 2-mark question. Definition of reflex action and reflex arc, and example will be given, and you should identify the pathway involved in the reflex action. Human brain, important, very important, 4 marks. Diagram and also you should know the difference between reflex action and voluntary action, and the functions of all the individual parts. Which part maintains the balancing balance of the body. You should know about each and every parts. Coordination in plants, you should know about what the movement dependent on growth and movement independent of growth, and also you should know about the geotrophism, hydrotrophism and phototrophism. You should know the meaning of phototrophism, hydrotrophism, geotrophism and also chemotrophism, and also important questions can be asked based on this. Important 2 or 3 mark question based on this will be asked. And also you should know about the important hormones like auxin, gibberellins, cytokinins. Definite 1 mark or 2 mark question, the MCQ are 1 mark. So make a list of all the plant hormones with functions. And also hormones in animals, what are the important hormones? Pituitary, the growth hormone, thyroxine hormone, adrenaline, insulin, sex hormones. These are the important hormones listed down with functions, which will be very helpful. Growth hormone, insulin, testosterone, adrenaline, and also question based on insulin has been repeated many times, and also list all the questions. List all the hormones with function, which will be very few. And also from the unit electricity, you can expect either Ohm's law or Joule's law fitting for 2 marks with that a simple numerical, which I have already solved and shared. Do check it out. Definition of simple electric circuit, and also conventional direction of electric current, and also definition of current and SI unit of current, diagram of simple electric circuit, and also the meaning of potential difference and device to measure the potential difference and the unit of potential difference. Definition of 1 volt will be asked in the examination, so do give importance to what the units and definitions of potential difference, unit of potential difference, and also 1 volt. And how voltmeter is connected? Voltmeter is always connected in parallel. How ammeter is connected? Ammeter is always connected in series, right? 1 mark problem, 12.2, check it out. And the circuit symbols will be asked for 1 mark question. Ohm's law for 2 mark, and factors depending on the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends on, also important 2 mark question. R equals rho L by A. It depends on length of the conductor, area of cross section, and also its temperature, and also depends on its length. You should know about the concept of resistivity, the SI unit of resistivity, ohm meter. So they can give the table of any 2 material, and they can ask you to compare the 2 metals based on what the value of resistivity. So important 2 mark problem, 12.4, 12.3, resistance of system of series of conductor when the resistors are connected in series and the resistors are connected in parallel. When the resistors are connected in series, the effective resistance is what? R1 plus R2 plus R2. Students, very important problem. Do practice this. Resistors are connected in parallel. The 1 by Rp equals 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Heating effect of electric current, that is H equals VIT. That is Joule size, very important 2 mark question. Based on Joule size you can expect this question. Do practice this question. Practical applications of heating effect of electric current, like used in filaments, and also the function of fuse and all will be important question. Electric power, based on electric power, definitely can expect 2 or 3 mark question. P equals VI, or P equals I square R, or P equals V square by R. So 1 kilowatt hour equals 3.6 into 10 power 6 joules. The commercial unit of electric power is what? Unit. So very important 1 mark as well as what? The 2 mark problem. 12.12 and 12.12. I have solved and I have posted these problems in my YouTube channel. You can check it out. So next important unit, magnetic effects of electric current, Faraday's experiment. The left hand rule, right hand, Fleming's left hand rule, right hand rule is an important question for the exam, and also properties of magnetic field lines, and also the properties of magnetic field lines and how the direction of magnetic field line inside and outside. Inside it is what? South to north, outside it is north to south. Right hand thumb rule. Draw magnetic fields around the bar, list the properties of magnetic field lines, and also why the magnetic field will not intersect. Magnetic field due to current through a circular loop. Solenoid is a very important concept. You can definitely expect 1 mark, 2 mark or 3 mark question. What is solenoid? How a bar magnet, the magnetic field inside the solenoid will be uniform. So magnetic field produced inside the solenoid can be used to magnetize a piece of material. So all these questions are very important. Fleming's left hand rule or right hand rule, definitely out of 2 you can expect 1 rule for 2 marks. Simple electric motor or electric generator, 2 marks diagram. And also you should know the difference between AC and DC, and also the frequency of an AC, and the functions of split ring, slip rings, functions of split rings or slip rings, definition of electromagnetic induction, and Faraday's coil experiment. This is a very important experiment for 3 marks. So do make a note of it. I've already posted in my 100+ questions videos. You can check. Students, I'm not explaining in detail because already many of the concepts I've already explained in my 100+ questions. In case I've missed anything, I'll be explaining. Start reading all the questions what I've shared. And also you should know about the concept of overloading, short circuiting, or the function of fuse. Out of these 3, one question will be asked. So students, these are the questions you can expect. And also what are the ways in which you can magnetize a material. So make a note of the question. What are the ways? Mention the ways in which you can. This is a question. List the methods of producing the magnetic fields. Magnetize a material. when doesn't short, what is the function of earth wire? All these questions are very important. Function of commutator is a very important question. And also from our environment, ecosystem, food chain, based on the food chains and food webs, you can expect 1 or 2 mark question. Or based on the 10% law, you can expect ozone. What is an ozone? O3 is an what? O3 is what? Ozone. Ozone is a deadly poison. It protects us from what? The harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. What are the effects of ozone depletion? What are the reasons for ozone depletion? These are what? Important 2 mark and definite question based on ozone. You can expect a question. And also managing the garbage. You can write all these questions on your own. Difference between biodegradable and non-biodegradable, a repeated question. Students, in this live session we have revised what? The part 1 textbook. Students, actually I'm not feeling well. So that's why I could not go in depth. Because of that I could not go in depth. But I've told what are the important concepts you can expect for the question. Hopefully for tomorrow's session I could be able to explain in detail, because part 1 textbook, part 1 it's where you have very simple chapters. You can read it on your own. I've told what are the important concepts for the exam. In part 2, the difficult concepts I'll be explaining in detail. Not to worry. By tomorrow, try to read the science 100+ questions and also science workbook. Try to read and understand the concept. Don't try to by heart all the questions. It is impossible to by heart all the questions. Try to understand the concept. Definitely you can score good marks. These are the important diagrams what I've told in part 1 textbook. Tomorrow we'll be revising part 2, where most of the difficult concept I'll be covering and explaining. Not to worry. Today literally I'm not feeling well. I couldn't stand also. I'm sitting and I'm doing this live session. Hopefully I'll do it tomorrow by giving my 200%. Today I've just explained what are the important concepts you can expect. The mind maps, what are the mind maps I'll be sharing in my Telegram group. Do join the Telegram group. And also students, for science, the tip what I can give to score good marks is that whatever the concept you have studied will be same. Only little bit questions will be tested. But what you should do is that you should attempt it. At least you should try to write about the concept. Definitely you can score marks. You should attempt all the 38 questions, practice all the diagrams, and practice the model paper and the preparatory paper released by the board. Definitely all this will be helpful to score very good marks in your examination. Thank you for attending the live session. Hopefully you have made a note of all the questions what I have shared now. Do read. If you have any doubt, do discuss with your friends or the teacher before going to exam. Hope that all the concept will be clear. Do watch out the numericals on electricity as well as the light unit. You can expect the questions from the textbook only, not outside the textbook. Just you need practice. Thank you for attending the live session. Hopefully it is useful to you all. Thank you, students.